Sent wedding invites to everyone, then got abandoned without warning, a week before walking down the aisle. And when I found him again, he was living a double life as a husband and father, with a house in another town. I used to believe in fairy tales. Not the romantic, castle and glass slipper kind, but the kind where two people meet, fall in love, and spend the rest of their life together. The kind where you wait your whole life for someone, and when they finally arrive, everything works out. I had that. I'd found my happily ever after, or so I thought. And then, 1 week before my wedding day, the man I was about to marry went away. No message, no text, no note, just gone. I remember waking up that morning, 7 days until the wedding. My wedding dress hung in the back of the room like a promise. My phone buzzed with reminders: last cake tasting, last head count, last everything. I sent him a good morning. Something simple: I love you. Can't believe we're this far. No response. That wasn't him. At first, I excused him. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he had forgotten to take his phone with him. Maybe he needed some fresh air pre-wedding nerves, or some pressing work issue. I wasn't naive enough to think that love meant perfection. I was willing to be patient. But hours passed. Then a whole day. Then another. His phone went straight to voicemail. His apartment empty. I rapped on the door of his neighbor, asking if maybe someone had noticed him. Nothing. His social media accounts? Deleted. His job? He had quit the week before. It seemed he'd informed his employers that he was taking his honeymoon a week early, alone. I spiraled. I tried to reach all of them, his friends, his parents, even some co-workers I had met but once or twice. Most did not answer. One of them finally did answer, after I called from another number. They said nothing more than, "I'm sorry, but I can't get involved," and hung up. That sentence haunted me. I didn't cry, to start with. I just froze. I sat on the end of my bed and stared at nothing. I recalled the sun moving across the room over the course of hours, and I'd moved not at all. My body was chilled through, but my skin seared, as though my soul was attempting to break free and carry the pain with it. The next few days were a blur of shame and silence. Calling it all off was humiliating. Calling the hall, telling my family, refunding friends. Nobody understood. How could I explain it when I didn't even understand myself? I lost my appetite. I lost my voice. I went silent, like the bride who got stood up at the altar, but I never even made it to the altar. Worst of all, a part of me still expected him to show up. Maybe there was some justification, some misunderstanding, some situation he couldn't help. Love does that. It suspends your brain and installs your heart on idiot. I sat by my phone, every few minutes checking it like some high school student. Every sound, every ring, flipped my stomach into a knot. But the phone stayed silent. My grief slowly progressed to rage. I wanted resolution. I wanted something, anything at all. So I started searching. I had enough knowledge of him to dig a little. I uncovered an old group project email we'd completed together. From that, a trail one he'd likely forgotten to erase led me through. An old handle tied to an unused blog account. That to a profile picture. That to someone tagging him in a photo I wasn't supposed to be looking at. He was having a barbecue, smiling, hugging a woman, a child on his lap. I stared at the screen, breathless. My fingers were shaking as I scrolled through. There were other pictures. Him and the same woman. Him holding the same child. Anniversaries, holidays, a family. All of them listed under another name. But his face, his eyes, his smile, it was him. My heart froze. He wasn't gone. He hadn't vanished. He'd been living two lives. For 3 years, he'd been leading two lives. The math didn't compute at first. We'd been together 2 years. So that would mean he'd already been married when we were becoming a couple. He had a kid. And the kid, during all this time that he was plotting with me to marry, he was playing house with someone else. I felt like I was sinking. I concentrated on one photograph. They were on a beach. She was in a simple gold band. He had his hand around her. He was grinning. I wasn't the other woman, I was a decoy. A plan B, a lie he built with care and detail. Like a second existence choreographed out of nothing but lies. I couldn't breathe. I screamed. For the first time in days, I actually screamed. I hit the mattress. I punched the wall with my fists. My eyes welled up with tears. I wasn't crying, I was falling apart. I had loved someone who did not even exist. When I finally calmed down, I knew what I must do. I had to go visit him. Not for revenge. Not even closure. I just had to stand there, in front of him, and demand to know why. Why did he do that? Why pretend? Why me? I drove 6 hours. I found the neighborhood in the picture. It was a suburban neighborhood. Kids playing in yards, flags on porches. The kind of place you would never imagine secrets. I parked a couple of houses down. I waited. He finally came out. He was older. Maybe it was the guilt. Maybe it was the shock of seeing him. But when he walked out with a bag of garbage in his hand, as if all was right with the world, my knees nearly buckled. I longed to scream out his name. I longed to go running up and smack him. But I just stood there again. Instead, I waited until he went away. Then I went to the door. She replied. The woman from the pictures. Her smile disappeared when she saw me. Perhaps she saw something in my eyes, sorrow, confusion, betrayal. I told her who I was. I didn't deceive her. I told her everything from the start. Her face turned pale. She did not scream. She did not weep. She just listened. Then she asked me in. I sat in the chair where their child probably had breakfast cereal. I outlined the proposal, the wedding, the morning he disappeared. She indicated that they'd been struggling, that he'd been distracted, that she knew something was wrong but never suspected. This. She thanked me, said I'd worked for the truth even though it hurt her too. When he came home, the look on his face. When he found me at that table, something I will never forget. He let the shopping bag fall. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Just guilt, panic, silence. And for once, I was in control. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I just gave him the evil eye and said, "You didn't just shatter me. You shattered her too, and your baby." Then I left. It's well over a year now. Healing wasn't simple. I had to relearn how to forget so many things I thought were real. I questioned every second, every kiss, every promise. I went to therapy. I talked to strangers online. I built me back together, piece by piece. Slowly, painfully, honestly. I still don't trust easily, but I've learned that's okay. I don't need to be someone's everything in order to be whole. I don't need a wedding dress or a ring to feel sufficient. I simply need honesty and peace. And now I have both, finally.